Alright, so we're back. So we're facing Miniman for semifinals now. So regarding the team that we brought, we brought Zapdos, Jirachi, Blaziken, Kirim, Aloe, and Crocodile. Pretty much the same team as last week, except for sets. So if you guys want to know what I brought for the sets, you should probably just review the build team builder I had from earlier in the video. So I'm just gonna try to go over it brief. I'm gonna have Rocky Helmet Zapdos, Alomola. That's pretty much a knockoff toxic variant with not Rocky Helmet as well. And Kirim is Metronome Dragonclaw. Crocodile is more utility based, but it's our rocker. So Blazikens are sweeper this game, and Jirachi is another which sort of an annoyer, I guess you could call it. You know, paralysis shuffler, I guess you could call it so regarding the mons I see on the screen, he brings Kangaskhan. That's obviously the Mega Dragonite, Genesect, Swellow, Donphan, and Vaporeon. I think I got most of the team correct, with the exception of maybe the Swellow. I thought he would probably bring Scrafty, but it was kind of interchangeable to that. So, Swellow, Scrafty, and Arcanine. So somewhat we kind of like got the teams right. So right off the bat, I'm thinking, okay, who do I lead? Because obviously this might, I don't want to lead Crocodile if in case he does have Genesect right off the bat. So same with Aloe and Jirachi. And Blaziken is kind of an awkward lead because then I have to figure out whether he is scarred or not. So and I have to play that game. And I have to play that game like almost like immediately, whether that thing's scarfed or not. So even though that's probably the weakest set, it could still like pretty much be really annoying to deal with that. So I figured that Zapdos was my best option here. So here I'm just gonna go with Zapdos, as he's gonna go with Genesect, and he gets the attack raise. So since I am especially defensive, so I do see that this is a red Genesect, so this might have E speed. So right off the bat, I'm thinking, okay, this might be offensive. So he makes a smart play and just U-turn, not doesn't U-turn out because that would just give me information on the set. So going straight to Donphan was pretty good here, as I do discharge just because I didn't want to give him anything. So makes a good call there. So here I'm just gonna go for Hidden Part Rise, and I find out that this thing is very spadef, and he goes for knockoff. So removes my Rocky Helmet, but I'm okay with that if I'm able to do like half to him. So yeah, I'm gonna go to Crocodile, and yeah, he's gonna go for rocks here. And at this point, I know I make kind of a questionable play, but at this point, I kind of want to go for no, I don't make a questionable play. I think that's a little bit ahead, but end the game. So here, I think I go for rocks or knockoff, and the reason why I go for knockoff there is just because I wanted to remove the item on Donphan in case it was like a pop-up barrier or something like that. But I did get rid of this thing's leftover, so I'm like, okay, this might be a Fly Knight if it's like, you know, sub Fly Dragonite, so I gotta be very careful with this. So here I decide, you know what, I might as well just set up rocks since he doesn't have, he may be special. I'll just take the risk because I do have some bulk on me. So, oh wait, just kidding. I just went for foul play because I wanted to see what kind of Dragonite this is and whether this is offensive or not. So based off that damage, I figured out this is very defensive Dragonite, and this will come into play during the later stages of this game. So keep that in mind, that this is a defensive Dragonite. So because my foul play does nothing, even for like Dragonite, that should have just with multi-steel broken. I should have done at least like around 50. So as you see, he has toxic. So this already confirms to me this might be defensive. So here I'm just gonna go for rocks here, and he's gonna go for LaRue. So at this point, I'm like, okay, this is the defensive Dragonite, probably for Blaziken. So that's a good bring on his end. So I can't be mad about that. So I did get rid of the leftovers, so he won't be able to activate that very soon. So he won't be able to casually activate multi-skill with leftovers if he has it. So here I decide, you know what, I want to keep Crocodile a little bit healthier, and I make a very aggressive play, and I go to my own Kirim. He goes for Earthquake. I think he's probably expecting Jirachi or Blaze. Oh, I don't know Blaziken, but like I wouldn't send Blaziken here. But like I think he was probably expecting Jirachi. And yeah, I go for Earthquake there, or he goes for Earthquake because of yeah, he probably expects Jirachi. So I went for Akira just because I felt that there was the chance of him having going for a Dragon move was kind of slim. Um, and I felt that he might have just swapped out to Vaporeon anyway. So I'm as he's gonna do it right now. So I'm just gonna go for a Dragon Claw, and I do it like 40% to this thing. So yeah, and that's pretty good on my end. So here I kind of make a very okay. These sequence of turns are kind of like questionable. I do make some questionable plays because I do have sub, and I could avoid Vaporeon's burn if I just go for sub, and that Scald won't the Scald not only won't burn me, but I'll keep my sub intact as long as he doesn't break it with a crit. So here I just go for Roost instead, just because I felt that I wanted to have more like HP to the turn where I started, and of course this might sound weird, why, but I felt that with Donphan and Dragonite weakened, and Dragonite not being like let's say not offensive, but like not physically offensive, I felt like I could just spam Ice Beam whenever I want. I just gotta worry about this Vaporeon. If I could chip it down enough, then maybe. So yeah, I am playing the luck factor here, whether he gets the burn or not. But thankfully, I don't get burned there. Here I'm just gonna reveal sub, and yeah, as you can see, we're just gonna go for. I believe this turn we just go for Roost, and yeah, I wrote for that because I felt that if he had a Spec Swellow or even the Specs Genesect, Bug Buzz, like or like I think mostly Boom Burst can actually kill me. So yeah, just behind the sub. So here I just go. I think this turn I just go for another, or here I just go for a Dragon Claw, and he just goes for a Skull Burn. I gets the burn here. Maybe I could have like played around it a little bit. Maybe I could have played this a little bit like this sub Scald and Roost turns early, like a little bit later, or for like at least a couple turns. But I just kind of like was impatient here because I thought maybe he switches out to Swellow and like try to get like a Specs Boom Burst up. So that's why I went for that. Of course, like this puts me in a very bad spot right off the bat, but I at least have Roar, Crocodile, and Zapdos to like get rid of a possible wish here. So but at this point, Vaporeon and also that like Aloe with Toxic. So but it depends on this Vaporeon set, of course. So so I do make that sort of a questionable play there, but I felt that like I could already weaken Dragonite, like Donphan, Genesect down with like just random chip damage from like Rocky Helmet, Rocks, what have you say. So I didn't think Kyurem was that as important so during this game. So I just go for another Dragon Claw, and it's still boosted by Metronome, and it does 25%. And he goes for a Wish here, and here this is where I kind of find out that he doesn't have Protect because he just switches out to Kangaskhan, and of course Kyurem does half the Kangaskhan, but this thing heals up. So yeah, if I hadn't gotten Bird, I probably would have killed this Kangaskhan or put it very, very low. So, but yeah, I've kind of played that a little bit too early. The sub Roost, like the sub Roost turns. I could have I kind of played that a little earlier, not earlier, but for like a couple turns. But I'm kind of repeating myself there. So yeah, let's just continue forward. So, here I decide obviously I'm gonna go for Aloe and Mola. Just take whatever hit this thing throws at me. So he's gonna go for a Pyro Punch, and yeah, I'm gonna get like 30% on this thing. So, and that's pretty good. So, but unfortunately, he does get a roll here. So I think the roll is like around 62, or because he gets like a high Pyro Punch roll. Now I think it was like a 62% chance or something like that for him to get that. This thing's gonna kill me right off the bat with just return. And yeah. I think it was in his favor to kill still, but if I had lived, I probably would have been able to like get toxic up and maybe like wear this thing down. But then again, it's a roll in his favor, not in his favor to kill me. So yeah. Here I go into Blaziken and all right. So let me just talk about this turn because I know I'm gonna get a lot of pushback. So um, this is pretty much a turn where I think the battle just comes down to like um, I think the battle just really comes down to like these two turns right here. Um, Here I decided to go to Blaziken because obviously I want to dread the Kangaskhan out. Um, I was expecting him to either switch out the Dragonite or just go back to Vaporeon. But at the same time, I wasn't so sure of that investment with Kangaskhan earlier because I saw that Power Up Punch just killed my Aloe just immediately, and I assumed that he was an adamant Kangaskhan, and that's where the mistake I made. So um, and I assumed that since he may be adamant Kangaskhan, which in fact that calculation I just mentioned earlier was Jolly, so I did not know it was Jolly. So uh, during this turn, I assumed that this thing was like he wasn't gonna run like a Jolly Max Kang, and let's just say I could have easily protected here, but another thing, a reason why I didn't want to go for it was because I felt that he also could have been a substitute, and if he did have sub, like he would have just won the game right there. Because from that point on, I can't break the sub with Blaziken, and he just kills me and the rest of my team, unless static. But yeah, um, um, so that's why I decided like just to attack Kangaskhan in general here. I did not want to risk him going for sub, and I thought, you know what, I could just force him out anyway. I thought he was gonna switch out, but it turns out, I lose the 50% or 50% speed tie, and yeah, and at that point I'm like, well, shit, like and I was like thinking to myself, how the, and I was like, how the fuck did that happen? And I thought, yeah, that was speed tie. Like immediately, I thought, yeah, that was a speed tie, and I just assumed that I lost the game from there. And very much so, like, I think just me being playing recklessly with Kyurem and Blaziken costed me a lot of, of, like, I guess you could say momentum there. Um, but still, I still stand with that play going after the Kangaskhan because if he did have sub, that probably would have just ended the game right there. If I went for protect, because I think he just wins right there. Like he just attacks, and then I have no way to stop that. And he does have coverage, and if assuming he has coverage, like not only um like Crocodile can't break through, Intimidate can't break through a sub, so he's still at +2, and therefore he's just gonna kill me with like Return or Drain Punch or Ice Punch if he has either of those options. So yeah, I still stand by attacking Blaziken there or the Kangaskhan there. So it's pretty unfortunate, but sometimes that happens. And now this game comes down to whether I get a paralysis. And well, it doesn't really come down to that, but it is very, very grim. That's even if I have a chance. So I'm pretty much I'm hoping that this Kangaskhan doesn't take one turn to kill, which I'm thinking it will kill me with one turn, but I have to hope that this thing gets a paralysis so that Crocodile just knock it out with foul play. So yeah, he goes for the return, and I get very lucky and I get the paralysis. And honestly, you could say that like given how this game is going, he got the burn, I got the paralysis, so I guess you could say it's even. So and the speed tie kind of like if I got in the speed tie, I think I probably won the game right there. So because I just have enough resources just to bulk him out. So um, but either way, I'm just gonna go for Crocodile. And since this thing's paralyzed now, I'm just gonna go for foul play and just knock it out. So, but at this point, now it's a sort of a wild goose chase if you ask me, because um, now I have to keep Kurum and Crocodile from Donphan and Vaporeon, and try to like kind of stall him out with Jirachi, and yeah, I don't think that's possible, but I tried that. So, of course, he's gonna U-turn now. That's an obvious play. So, here he goes to Dawn Fan, and yeah, I go into Crocodile, go for the Intimidate, and he goes for Earthquake, trying to get my obviously he tries to get my Jirachi there, so because that's probably the only option he has left. So here I go for knockoff, and of course I can't well I eat my berry, but yeah. But at this point I'm like, yeah, I need to get rid of this Don fan now. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I have to pressure him. So here I'm just gonna go for a roost. I know, but at this point his Genesect kind of semi walls my team, so he actually stays in and goes for Earthquake, which actually helps me out a little bit because I'm just gonna go for chip damage as you see it do 19% to Genesect, but you know every damage counts. So at this point, I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna try to get as much damage on this Genesect as possible. And he goes for a flash cannon, so at this point, like I'm gonna go for Wish as he goes for the U-turn. And I actually go for a secret power here just to try to get the paralysis. And thankfully, I don't put him in range of Berry. As you'll see very soon why this is very important. Here I go for the Protect. And he goes for the Earthquake. And yeah, here I go into Crocodile. And yeah, I take the Earthquake pretty nicely. And I decided to go for the knockoff, just remove the I pop up berry as he did have it. And he actually goes for Earthquake, and I'm very confused at like one thing. Why didn't he keep like why didn't I was very confused like of one thing. It was the fact that why didn't he rapid spin or something like that? I guess assuming that he didn't have it, but you know, it is what it is, so but those rocks are up to stay for the rest of the game now. So unless Dragonite has defog for some random thing, so now this is where the fun begins. And I'm just gonna go for protect. Got what he's gonna do, and yeah, Genesect barely doesn't kill Jirachi, and I go for the wish here. And here I'm just gonna go for the Moonblast, and for some reason he doesn't have protect. And I'm like, oh my god. What can we just pull this can we pull this out? And because I know Jirachi has secret power, and we all know what secret power can do, so it has 60% chance to paralyze, so at this point, if I could not die from Earthquake and not get crit, and just wish protect myself out of the situation, then yeah, this could work out. So here I also the leftovers are pretty helpful as well, so and Earthquake is not even doing like 50%, so at this point you'll see me like just spamming secret power, and I just don't get it initially at all, even though it's a 60% chance to get the paralysis. So the reason why I want that is because to get the paralysis is obviously I want the turns for Jirachi to outspeed Dragonite. But this does have a caveat to it. If he gets paralyzed enough times, then that might actually benefit him. But then again, I'll always kind of like try to heal up and just go for repeated Moonblast if I'm fully healthy. So that's pretty much the game plan. Just try to get myself healthy as possible with these Wish Protects, and try to get a paralysis on Dragonite. So here I go for Wish Protect. I don't know why I'm just explaining that. That's pretty much the plan. So at this point, he realizes that he needs to save Earthquake power points. So here I just go for Secret Power, and he gets paralyzed there. But of course, Jirachi is just tanking this out right now. So here I go for the Protect, and I'm just gonna go for a Wish here, and he goes for the Earthquake, and we barely live that. So at this point, we're just gonna go for the Protect. Yeah, I know this is a fun game. And he gets paralyzed there. And I'm like, man, can you just stop? Can you just stop move when I'm going for Wish for once, please? Even though that may have like But this actually just helps me in my favor because, as you'll see, I'm able to stall out the earthquakes from Dragonite, as I believe he only has 2 left. So, and whatever move he has, he doesn't have Dragon Dance at all. So, I don't know what else he has. And I'm thinking maybe he has Defog or something. Toxic, Roost, Earthquake. I don't know. Like, because his team is sort of dependent on like um you know like his team is somewhat box weak, especially with Genesect and Dragonite, so or Swellow in particular. So, um, but yeah, like I just don't know what the last move is, but thankfully we are able to stall out this Dragonite now with first Earthquakes. So, man, we did not get crit in that sequence at all. So, his last move is E Speed, and this is even better for me because now, honestly, I go for a Moonblast here. I could pretty much keep going for Moonblast without fearing him killing me. So I could just heal up. So at this point, he also wastes a lot of like Moonblast or Roost as well. So this actually puts me in a favorable spot to kill the Dragonite since he's also paralyzed. I do actually get a crit on the Dragonite, which helps me a little bit, and the fact he also switches out, and means he's gonna take rocks as well. So same with this Genesect. So he actually switches out into Genesect right now, and as you see, I'm going to do 15%, but we also get a special attack drop. So at this point, we are able to like Genesect is pretty much low, like very very low, and given the fact that it's not even 2 killing me right now, I'm assuming this is a special Genesect, so that's really helpful. So at this point, we're just gonna go for Protect just to get up as much health as possible. So yeah, and at this point, I believe I either go for Utes or I go for Wish or a Moonblast. I'm not so sure which one, but I think I just go for Wish here. And yeah, I just go for a Moonblast, and Dragonite's just gonna try to Roost stall out the Moonblast, but he only has like about 8 left, whereas I have a lot of Moonblast left as well, and he could also get paralyzed in sequential turns. So here he goes for E Speed, and I'm just gonna go for a Moonblast. I think that's a roll right here. So I do get the roll, and I do kill this Dragonite. So, and I'm at 100%. So this is pretty much the most ideal turn for me because now this is pretty much the game right here. And also the Genesect. So, but this is where the game pretty much is decided. Whether the Swellow one is specs, or let's say whether Swellow is specs and has Heat Wave, and whether this thing is Facade or whatever. So if he has Facade, he's probably gonna Protect, but just to get the burn. So, but anyways, here I decide to go for Secret Power over Moonblast because the reason why is because one with Secret Power, I'll guarantee do like around 40-ish%. And not only that, I believe Swellow just takes 25% as well from rocks. So if I'm able to weaken it with Secret Power first, and then go to Moonblast, then yeah, that's gonna be pretty much. We should be able to 2-shot it with Moonblast plus Secret Power. And if so, not only that, with Secret Power, if I get the 60% chance paralysis, I'll outspeed the next turn, not take any Heat Wave damage at all. And if he's choice specs, I could actually kind of like go for additional protects just to get up to health a little bit more healthy against the final turn with Genesect. So yeah, here he goes for the Heat Wave, and I do go for the Secret Power, and I do get the paralysis, and this is very helpful because now I could just go for the Protect, and I know I could kill this thing with the Moonblast. So, and at this point, I'm just gonna go for it, get the kill into Swellow. I get the low to reverse recovery. So out comes the Genesect, and here I just go for the Protect. I know it sounds a little bit dumb going for it, but given his moveset, I felt that he was special, and the fact that if he was physical Genesect, he would have just went for like something like Shadow Claw, or U-turn would have just outright done like half to me. So now, yeah, we're just gonna go for Moonblast, and we're just gonna claim our victory here. So yeah, that's gonna be GG against Miniman. So that's probably one of the most weirdest comeback victories I've had in a long time. Like most of the time, like I've had like weird games where like it was the matches are still close, but this is the first time where like where it looked very grim for me. But at the same time, we were able to come back. So I'll admit we did get lucky with the static Zapdos and the Jirachi turns, I guess you could say. But then again, like like Earthquake wouldn't if he had gotten a crit on my Earthquake, I guess, or a crit on to Jirachi with an Earthquake. Any of those times I wished up, I probably lost right then and there. Or he had preserved Donphan very good enough, then yeah. Um, there's a lot of factors that could play into account, like Vaporeon being weakened, same with Donphan, Kangaskhan getting like removed out of play, and Dragonite not having anything for me, any way to break my Jirachi. So, and even Genesect just having a special, just being more specially based and not having Flamethrower just helped. So yeah. Um, I mean, sometimes you just gotta play out those games and just see whether or not like you could win this. So I'll admit, like I did sort of play aggressively with Kyurem and Blaziken, and but I think with Kyurem, I think that one's more kind of. I guess you could say that one is that one's. I can understand why I should have like just went for the sub over the roost, over the Dragonclaw, because I probably would have just been able to do enough damage or as is. So, but then again, I was kind of very fearful that Swellow would just switch in and it just add to like a how do I say it, like a how do I say it, into like a 50%, yeah, into a 50% cure up, and then I'm not, and I could barely live like a I think a Specs boom burst that's timid or already like with like if I have 75% on Kirum, but I can't live like a modest Specs boom burst as well. And that I don't know if he would think that I would outbring Tauros or not, but like he could have done it easily and just just run modest Swellow, and that would have just killed Kirim at below half or at half really. So yeah, but like either way, I think the Kirim terms I could have played it better, and also with Blaziken as well. Um, but sometimes those 50-50s come up to play, and yeah, that pretty much kind of like those 50-50s really were kind of bad for us. But then again, we played around with luck, so we deserve to get punished for it. So being aggressive, I guess you could say. Especially with the Blaziken. Though I don't know about that because if he had sub Kang, he probably won, and I didn't want to give him that. So yeah. Um, but of course, now I think I'll acknowledge that Static Zapdos probably saved me from getting 6L swept. So yeah, like just the moral of the story is always bring Static Zapdos, unless you're like me and just bring pressure, sub pressure, toxic Zapdos, which is so fun to use sometimes. So, um, but yeah, that's gonna be good games to Miniman. He played fantastically. I think it just came down to like the movesets really. Like if he had one of those things, like, or if he had preserved Donphan, or hell, even removed the rocks, that would have helped him out like immensely for the rest of the game. Genesect would have been chipped down. Same with Donphan. Like, I mean, a lot of factors came to play for me to come back from this game as well. So I don't think he choked this game. People will probably mention that, but I don't think he did. Like, I think it just came down to like just movesets, and he just didn't have the right like sets at all. Like, I think he had like Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Flash Cannon, and U-turn. I think Flash Cannon was for the Kira. I believe his Kang was also Drain Punch, so as to get help back from Crocodile and Kyurem, so that's understandable. And with Pup, that's kind of an interesting set itself. So Drain Punch plus Power Punch. And not only that, I believe Vaporeon didn't have Protect at all. It actually had Toxic Heal Bell and I believe Wish, so Scald. So if he had like, if I was thinking that one of those three wouldn't be available, obviously would have Wish or Scald, but either between Heal Bell, Toxic, and what was the other one? Like Protect. So he actually didn't have Protect, so that actually helped me out there. So yeah. Um, so it's kind of funny. Like Jirachi actually wins me this game in the most unironic way possible. So yeah. Anyways, already this video is kind of like I guess you could say a little bit long. So so we're in finals, and I think I already know my opponent. And yeah, that matchup is gonna be very interesting. So hopefully I'll try to get that matchup ASAP. So anyways, I'll say it's GG's to Miniman, and hopefully our finals game is gonna be interesting. So I won't be as disorganized as the way I played it. So um this game. So hopefully that's not the case. So and maybe we just get our like 8th, 9th championship. I don't know. So anyways, I'll catch you guys later. So see ya.